Good morning, it's Grandma Roseanne, and we are going to make a French bread today. Don't get scared. Even when I tell you the name, which is a Fougasse, don't get scared. It is super simple, absolutely delicious, and anybody can make it, and I'm going to show you how right now. In my mixer, I have got 3 cups of flour. To that, I'm adding 1/3 cup of wheat flour, and you do need that. I have 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of yeast. Now you're going to mix that up. Now I have 1.5 cups of water. It's going to go right in. Honestly, people, life does not get easier than this. And then I'm going to put a dough hook on. 5 minutes. That's it. Okay, I'm finished with my 5 minutes here. Now, if you don't have a KitchenAid and you're doing this by hand, this is the consistency that you should be looking for. We are going to knead this for a little bit. Now, so if you are doing this by hand, what you have done is you took your flour mixture and you put it in on your counter. You created a well, you put 1.5 cups of water in there, and then you just started bringing it all together. Once it was together, then you start kneading it. So you just roll it over, push it out with your heels of your hand, just like that. Quarter turn, push. Quarter turn, push. But what you are looking for is what I have here. It's a very smooth consistency, and it's just not sticky at all. Now, what we do next is we're going to oil a bowl. Come here for 1 second. Come look. I drop it in, turn it over, make sure it's all coated with that oil. This is going to sit on, I have it in a preheated oven. I kicked my oven up to 200 degrees just for a couple of minutes, just so it was nice and toasty warm in there. But if you don't have access to your oven, leave it on the counter. Just make sure you drape something over it so that draft doesn't get to it. You don't want it to get chilled. It's going to sit just like this for 30 minutes, and then I will show you the next step. I will be back in a half hour. 30 minutes, and now I'm just pulling our beautiful dough out. So pay attention here, because you're going to be doing this a few times. Pick up an end, stretch it, and bring it into the middle. Pick up an end, stretch it, bring it in. Okay, and then we'll do it again. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, there. Put it back in the bowl, and it's going to sit here again for another 30 minutes. 30 minutes from now, you're going to do it again. So over the next 2 hours, every 30 minutes, you're going to do this. So you will work with your dough 4 times. I had to stop and think. So you work with your dough 4 times within the next 2 hours. Every 30 minutes, just lift it and do this to it, okay? Very simple. I'm not going to show you every time I do it because it's just repetitive. It's just the same thing I just did. But I will be back in 2 hours, and I will show you the very end of it and what we have to do at that point, okay? Well, we had our 4 turns of pull, stretch, and fold. So now I'm taking this absolutely beautiful dough. Oh my word, I wish you could feel that, because this makes 2 loaves. So I'm going to cut the dough in half. And they're about the same. And this one, I'm just going to roll, tighten it up a little bit, just like this. I'm going to spray a little bit of olive oil in there. And I'm going to tighten that up and cover it. Now this one, I'm going to do just a little bit differently, because I want to fill this one. This is the one that I want to put some olives in. So I'm going to stretch this out a bit. Where's my rolling pin? right where it should be. Now here I have the olives that I'm using. Use whatever you want. We just really like those. So I'm just going to set that into the center. I'm going to fold it up just like this. Nice and tight. I'm going to make a tight ball out of this one as well. And that's going back into the bowl that I have been using. Both of these bowls are going to be covered tightly, and I am putting them in the refrigerator, and they will be there overnight. If you don't have that kind of time, just leave it on your countertop. It's going to still be just as good. But we have the time, so I'm going to do it this way. So I will be back in the morning, and we will finish off the beautiful, beautiful Fougasse that we're working on. Okay? Have a nice evening. We'll see you in the morning. Hi, well, it's a continuation of our beautiful bread that we started yesterday. This one, if you'll recall, I don't know if I told you yesterday, this is going to be thyme and sea salt. And this is my all-time favorite. This is olive. Oh, it's got the Greek olives, the calamari olives, it's got green olives with pimento. This to me is wonderful. So I put them in the refrigerator. They've been there for 24 hours. If you don't have 24 hours, 12 is good. If you don't have 12, 6 is good. If you have no time at all, don't put it in the refrigerator. Just leave it on your counter for like maybe 2 to 3 hours. I have done 2 to 3 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours. It's all good. It just keeps getting better, okay? Is show you the next step. So we want to throw some flour on our board and a little bit of flour on a cookie sheet. You want to dump this out. And what I did too is I pulled it out of the refrigerator about an hour before this, because what I wanted to do was not to struggle with the dough. I really wanted it to be able to just work easily with me, and if it's real cold, it's just harder for it to do that. Now I'm just going to just dapple this out into about a rectangle. You just want it to be about even. Alrighty. Cameraman, I want you to come in real close here because I want them to see. You're going to take one end and bring it down. You're going to bring the other end and bring it down. So now you have a triangle. You're going to take that triangle and put it on your prepared pan. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to do the same thing here. This is the one that I have filled. And I will tell you, you can be as creative as you want to be with these. You could do cheese, and you could do sausage, you could do pepperoni, you could do any kind of herbs that you love. All of them are wonderful. But what I have to tell you is I cannot stay away from this bread. I love this bread. It is so delicious. Our little triangle being created right there and right there. Turn it over and set it down. I'm going to spray the plastic wrap. And tuck it in. I just don't want anything to dry out. So what we're going to do now is we're going to leave it here 30 minutes to an hour. So it's been an hour and we're ready now to go to the next step with our dough. So pick it up ever so nicely. And now we're going to just move this out into a triangle. Now Fougasse is, as you probably do know, it is a French pastry or a French bread. And it is supposed to mimic a leaf. So that is the shape that we're trying to get to. keep that triangular look, and you can do this as well. We're going to get this to an 8 by 10 triangle, okay? And you do want to be a little bit careful about the size of your triangle, simply because if you are going to do it at different measurements, your cooking time is going to change as well. So you can do it however you choose to do it, but just know that you'll probably have to change that, adjust your cooking time. When it's an 8 by 10, I can tell you the cooking time. Anything other than that, you're on your own. My leaf wants to look like a bell. So I've got to get that bottom thing out of there. All right, now I'm going to measure just to make sure. And that's perfect. It's an 8 by 10, and that's perfect. Now, stay right here, cameraman, because this is where you're going to start making the cuts. Start about an inch up from the bottom, right in the center, and make one cut. Do not go to the end, okay? But just right there. Now you're going to make some diagonal cuts. Little one there, little one here. Do not go to the end. And there are probably as many designs as there are people who create this beautiful bread. So you can have artistic expression here. Now we want to open these up. Okay. I have some cornmeal. It's going to go down here. We're going to pick up our beautiful bread, transfer it over, and separate it again. Now, I have done this on parchment paper, you guys, because it makes life so much easier. And the cornmeal that you use on the bottom just gives it a really nice texture. It gives it a nice crunch, okay? So I think this looks pretty fancy. What do you guys think? Pretty cool? Because I think it looks really cool. All right, I'm going to set this off to the side. And I'm going to work on the next one. Now what I have here is a pizza, what do you call it? A pizza, not paddle. Oh, what's it called?
Spatula?
What?
Spatula?
No. Cameraman thought it was a spatula. Bless his heart, he does try. A peel. It's a pizza peel, okay?
That's what I meant.
You were close, honey, you were close. All righty, now for the one that is my all-time favorite. Basically just going to do the same thing here. We're going to take it to an 8 by 10 triangle. Now after you do this just a couple of times, you are going to be astonished at what a pro you are at this. I think a bread like this, to me, is just the loveliest gift that you could give to anyone. I really think it's a pretty amazing thing. But I want to spray it because I do not want it to dry out. So what I think we have here is just a little work of art. That's all. So now as this is raising and resting, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a pizza stone in the oven. I'm going to kick it up to 450 degrees because I want that piece of stone to be scorching hot when I put this in, simply because it's going to have an immediate effect on the crust of this, and you want that crust on the bottom. So I'm going to put it in now. I'm going to let it preheat for 30 minutes to 60 minutes, depending on how long before we come back to it. Well, our hour has passed, and now we are ready for almost the last stage. I have it wrapped because you want to be sure you don't dry it out. Now what we're going to do is just very liberally brush olive oil all over it. And you want to be sure to get in those little cracks and crevices there. This is going to give it enhanced flavor. It's also going to give it a beautiful, beautiful crust, a beautiful shine to the crust. And the next purpose is that it's going to help hold on the herbs that I'm going to put on here. So I'm putting on some thyme, and here you can just do whatever you love. We just happen to really enjoy the flavor of thyme. And I'm going to put on a little bit things. What this is herb of Provence, and it is an herb that has so many beautiful, beautiful herbs in it. Comes from France, and it just gives it an additional, very nice little flavoring. If you don't have this, don't worry about it. You don't have to use it. It's just that we do have it, and I like it. Now then, sea salt. Sea salt is going to go on all of this, just like that. Okay, that takes care of the first one. And the second one is going to be so much easier because all the goodies are inside of this one. So all we're doing here is just olive oil. Now, as I told you before, this oven is at 450 degrees. I have let it sit there at 450 degrees for an hour. We're going to put these in. They're going to go in for 20 minutes, and then we will be able to have a great sampling. So, here's first one. Right there. Okay? Is that beautiful, or is that beautiful? Be back in 20 minutes, and I will show you the beautiful creation that has come from this amazing fougasse that we did. Okay? We'll be back. All right, well, we are complete, and if you can take a look at this, the beauty that we have created. Oh, look. This is our loaf that has the olives in it. This one is fresh thyme, garlic, and sea salt. They are beautiful. Now, if I was going to be serving this, I would serve it just like this with some varieties of cheese, maybe a couple of different wines, and I think our guests would love them. But you know I'm going to taste this. So I'm going to take, it's got olives all tucked into it, and I know it's going to be outrageous. It's just really, really good. I mean, I love bread, but when you can make a fougasse like this, that is beautiful, absolutely delicious, and I can't imagine anyone that would not be thrilled with getting one of these as a gift. If you're going to somebody's home for dinner, what a nice little thing, or if somebody's not, I don't know, they're not feeling really well, or they're sad about something, take them something you made, because I think that is exceptional. So what I will say to you is serve it however you want. If you want to sit on the couch and just yank it apart and eat it while you're watching a great drama, that works for me too. Be sure to subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know what you guys think about this. Hit the little bell, and if you enjoy the video, a thumbs up is really nice too. So I will wish you well on your fougasse adventure, and we will see you on the next video. Bye.